All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of hashtag CB99 Talks. Today I have another special guest in the house, another young fighter on the come up. I actually discovered you online, just going through fights, and I saw a few of your amateur fights. And I keep up with Invicta, so I pulled up the Invicta card that's coming up in a couple weeks, and I saw your name up there. So I said, okay, that's cool. I was like, oh, she done graduated. I said she's really coming up. So today I got Natalya Speece in the house. She's going to be on the Invicta FC 41 card coming up July 30th. Natalya, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. And you actually said my name perfectly. That's pretty awesome.
For some reason, for some reason, I can just see a name and just pronounce it right. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that was spot on. No corrections. And yeah, it's kind of exciting. I guess I'm moving up in this MMA world, I guess you could say. So very excited about this opportunity. Kind of a blessing in disguise with COVID. I ended up having, I had a pro fight for my pro debut was scheduled with King of the Cage. And that was scheduled for April, right before everything hit. So everything paused. It got postponed. Then June came and things still weren't opening up because it was in California especially. And so after the June, they kind of canceled with nothing else in sight. So it was a really scary and just like, what the heck are we going to do? And then wouldn't you know, like I said, kind of a blessing in disguise, this opportunity came along and we took it. And thank goodness they were able to get me on this July card, July 30th.
Yeah, that's good. Because like the one that just happened a couple weeks ago, that just kind of sprouted up out of nowhere. I mean, I talked to some of the other fighters like Lindsey Van Zandt, they said it was something they were kind of like just talking about, on the low. They didn't want to just go ahead and announce it in case, some like cancellations or anything happened. But I was just glad to hear we had another card coming up. But something I ask a lot of fighters, like I was telling you earlier, is just like, how's just training camp been going for you with this going on?
It is such a weird time right now. I split my time between California and New Mexico. California is my home, and New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Jackson Wink is my camp home. Okay. So whenever I go into camps, I come out here maybe 6, 8, sometimes 10 weeks at a time. And I had come out preparing for my pro debut in April. So I came out in April, then everything hit. And so I went home, took some time just to assess everything going on. Well, then we got a call, hey, it could be happening June. So I ended up coming out to Albuquerque back in June. And unfortunately, the gyms were closed down. Everything was closed down. So I was having to do a lot of stuff on my own, kind of one-on-one with my coaches. Couldn't even get all of my coaches because some of them have kids and are just in positions where they didn't want to jeopardize anything. So, family comes first. They had to stay home and do all that kind of stuff. So it was a really big struggle, especially just getting that motivation to get it going again. With Jackson Wink, we're very lucky because we have so many people come from all over the world. That's one of the reasons I fell in love with it, is we have people from Spain, Germany, Italy, Mongolia, just all of these wonderful countries, and everyone had to go home. So it was a really weird time. We have people that are here permanently, but everyone went home. And so it was just kind of weird. I was doing a lot of one-on-ones, staying busy, doing a lot of my own conditioning stuff. And I think it was towards mid to late June, they were able to start opening up again. And it was still very limited. We kind of had to sneak training, We kind of put windows up, and it was like a don't tell anybody. We have small classes now, invite only. So it actually kind of worked in our favor. It's nice in the big classes, but being able to get that one-on-one training sessions was awesome. So it was like, oh, well, this is kind of cool. I don't want to get too used to it because I actually was really enjoying it. I think the biggest thing is not having the bodies. I'm used to having multiple bodies with these women, like I said, that come from all over the world, all different styles, all different weight classes. And it's awesome because we get to mix it up. At some point we could have like 10, 12 girls. And right now I think there's about maybe five or six of us that are consistently here. So I think that was one of the biggest things that hit, was just not having the bodies and having our normal routine. I'm someone who likes routines.
Mm-hmm.
So everything got shook up, but we kind of pulled it off. I don't know how we did. We pulled it off, and things are somewhat normal at the gym right now. We are lucky to be in Albuquerque compared to somewhere like New York or California. So we're still able to open up a little bit. And we just started kind of going again. The minute we got all go, everything's good to go, we started up training again. And like I said, I was doing stuff on my own, but I kind of like it. I don't mind. This is a very lonely sport. You have to be used to being on your own. And so just having to find that motivation, I think, was definitely tricky again. Just not having those same vibes. It's so awesome when everyone's in camps and we're all training, we're all cutting together. So, just trying to get back to that, just getting some sort of normalcy that we can. So, yeah.
Okay. So you're really, you're just showing a lot of dedication there. You go from California to New Mexico and back. Like, how far a drive is that every day for you?
So that's actually most of the time. Obviously, before this happened, I would have to fly out. It's a quick flight, but the drive is about a 12-hour drive. And then especially I would bring my dogs out. So whenever I would drive out with my dogs, it would be about a 12-hour drive. And definitely a sacrifice, but closer, I considered even going out to Florida before. I think it was about 2018. I was figuring out where I wanted to go. And Florida just seemed super far. New Mexico, very reasonably priced out here, which was really nice. And then it was far enough from home, but not too far. So that's what's cool is if I don't have my dogs out here, I can hop on a plane and I'll be home in 2 or 3 hours. So that's really cool.
Okay. So like you were saying, you're a person who, likes to stick to routine, but how did it feel to kind of break that chain and just actually dig deep to try to find other alternatives to training?
It's been definitely a learning process, I guess you could say. Also because I was in the midst of actually moving. My husband and I bought a home out here. So I would have a place to come and just kind of do my camps out here. So there were so many different things going on, not just with weird training schedules with COVID, but moving and all these kind of different things. And like I said, it was a learning process. It actually was kind of good. I needed to shake things up. I'm a very habitual person, but I think I can kind of rely on that too much. So doing this, I've actually kind of enjoyed the isolation. I don't really want to say 100%, but I do like having to just kind of dig down deep and find that passion of why I'm doing this again. It's so nice being at the gym when you're around people, but then, like I said, this is an extremely lonely sport. So you have to have something within you. You have to have that passion that kind of keeps you going. And so thank goodness I am a runner. Like I love running. It's very therapeutic for me. So being out here in New Mexico, we have these kind of foothills. We have little mountains that we can run. And that I think really helped me just kind of figure out where I am again and why I love this and why I'm doing this, it's all on me, there's only so much that you can do at the gym. It all falls back onto you and what you're doing outside of the gym. So it actually was really good to just kind of change up that kind of habit that I have of the schedule and this and that. And sometimes it gets very overwhelming. So I think it was really good. Like I said, kind of a blessing in disguise that this happened. And it got me to refocus and then find again that motivation, and remembering why I'm doing this and how much I love doing this.
Okay. And wanted to know, why do you do this? Why do you choose this sport?
I've gotten that question many times. Especially I started this at, I think it was almost 15 years old. And I've done music, I've done acting, I've done dance, performance, and everybody was like, what the heck are you doing? Like, why would you willingly go in there and get hurt? And I always tell people, I was like, you know what? There's just something about me. If you talk to fighters, you'll learn. Most of us are very different, but at the same time, we're all the same. We're all a little crazy.
Yeah.
And something about this sport kind of brings us back. You know, I am a performer. So I've done dance, I've done music. And when I fell in love with martial arts, it was an art to me. And so it kind of became my main focus. You know, I love doing all my dance, but I was really good at this. And so I just kind of kept pursuing it. And it was one of those things I was like, well, I'm kind of beating myself up in practice. Why not do it professionally? And it was kind of funny how it developed. But at the same time, I'm a performer. I love being in front of people. And I'm really good at what I do. So it kind of just worked out that I am one of the few that can actually pursue a career in something that I absolutely love so much. I don't know why I love it. It breaks my heart so many times. It's extremely, extremely difficult. You know, you have to have a very strong here, you know, and here in the heart and all that kind of stuff to kind of keep going with it. And many people don't last, you know, because of that, because of the sacrifices, having to give up a normal life in camps. But like I said, it was one of those things when I talked with my husband. I'm young right now. I don't have kids. And I didn't want to be sitting 20 years down the road watching whatever I was watching and wondering like, well, what if, you know, what if I had actually pursued it? So it was like, let's do it now, get in, get out, get as much out of it as I can. And then I can at least say I tried, you know, and I'm very blessed that we are in a country that pursues dreams like that. You know, it's the American dream. I'm going for it and people are not going to understand it and that's okay. But that's why I'm doing it. I'm going to go in there and get punched. You don't need to.
Right. Yeah. I hope I didn't sound like a parent asking, like, you know, my why is, you know, because my why is usually like, I just like to know why other fighters do it, you know, and, you know, I always respect it, but I didn't want to sound like, well, why are you doing it? You know, like some moms, they're like,
no, not at all.
You know? But what was at 15, what was like your first discipline? Was it boxing, kickboxing?
So it was actually Muay Thai kickboxing. And I fell in love with, and I was very lucky because I had a very traditional coach. Haven't been to Thailand yet. That's obviously on my bucket list to train out there. But I was with coaches that were extremely traditional. And I was not necessarily a problem child growing up, but I had some anger issues and I needed to place it somewhere. I needed to sort myself out and just kind of give myself some balance. And because of my dance, I was able to pick up Muay Thai kickboxing so easily, you know, knowing my body and combinations. And I just fell in love with the art of it. You know, it's the art of 8 limbs.
What type of dance?
So growing up, I did ballet, tap, and jazz. So a little bit of everything, you know, some hip hop here and there, but more. The biggest was ballet. I was a big ballet dancer, which is so funny to think. The ballerina is now kicking people's butts.
So I mean, the ballet is for balance, and you know, tap is for tapping dance on people's faces, right? So, you know,
it all applied perfectly, you know, and then I was able to really focus on my boxing. So I'm definitely a stand-up fighter. Love my boxing. Now that I'm professional, I would love to be able to do both. If I could get professional boxing fights, I love boxing fights. Muay Thai, I love Muay Thai. It's very unfortunate. I think I heard like Glory Kickboxing is actually filed for bankruptcy. So I don't know what's going to happen with all that, which is really unfortunate because it is such an amazing sport. It's sad that more people didn't latch on like with MMA. You know, they want to see the gruesome, the blood, all that kind of stuff. Muay Thai has that, but it's maybe not the same as MMA. So only within the last, I think, 4 or 5 years did I really start pursuing the grappling part of it, the Jiu Jitsu, the wrestling. And again, I fell in love with all that, you know. So being able to put it all together in MMA was just perfect for me.
What since you went from Muay Thai kickboxing to mixed martial arts, was it kind of a struggle trying to find like the transition there? Like, did you have to kind of say it was? Like,
It actually,
what was the biggest struggle there?
a lot of it is learning how to separate the disciplines and apply the different disciplines when they need to be applied. You know, MMA is everything. So it's very difficult. I have to worry about everything. You know, in Muay Thai, I just got to worry about elbows and all this kind of stuff. In boxing, you just got hands. In Jiu Jitsu, you just want to make sure you don't get choked out or tapped out. You know, in MMA, you have elbows flying at you. You got feet. You got punches. You don't want to get tapped out. You don't want to break your arm. Like, that was, I think, the biggest thing was having to learn everything. I don't have to know everything, but at the same time, you have to be able to transition from the stand-up to the wrestling to the jiu-jitsu. And it's very difficult for a lot of people, and that's why I think MMA is definitely one of the most difficult sports out there, because there's so much involved in it. And I'm a student of the game. Like, I will, there's forever I will be learning about this, you know, and like I said, being able to learn how to transition through all those things. You know, it's an MMA fight. If it goes to the ground, you need to be able to survive and do something on the ground. If you're held against the cage, you need to be able to figure out what to do there and then stand up. You know, everything starts standing up. So you have to kind of start there. So I think that was definitely the most interesting and tricky part of MMA.
Okay, so like I come from the boxing background, so like one of the things on my bucket list is to, you know, try Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, what would you recommend for a person just going in there as, you know, for a first timer?
So it's really interesting. When they say it's kind of like the white belt attitude. So, and I'm sure if you're an athlete, we're all very competitive. So it's very hard just rolling. Like, if you roll with a black belt, it is absolutely amazing, because what we say, flow. They just flow through all these different things, barely panting hard, all this kind of stuff. And someone who is competitive or a white belt, we are just so strong and just like, oh my God, I have to do this. We don't have that nice, smooth flow. And I always tell people, like, we'll watch the amateur class and these people are just going at it. And I'm like, hey guys, just chill. Just enjoy flowing through stuff, especially with jiu-jitsu, because it is so hands-on. With boxing, you can, you know, bounce around and do all this different stuff. But in jiu-jitsu, it's very hands-on. And it's exhausting when you have somebody on you and having to maneuver another body, especially if they're a bigger body than you. Because I guess jiu-jitsu does have certain weight classes, but it's more a belting system. You know, I saw Gabby Garcia, who is...
I was just thinking that. Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah. I've seen her, with Mackenzie Dern. Exactly. Yeah. So I think when you get to a certain level, it's more about belt ranking than weight classes. Okay. So you have to be able to learn how to maneuver a whole nother body that's literally trying to like smother you and squish you. And you have to be able to breathe and stay calm. And that was a very tricky situation for me, was learning how to stay calm and everything. You know, in boxing, same thing. You have to chill. You have to be able to breathe. You pop stuff out, you move. You pop stuff out, you move. Same with jiu-jitsu. You just flow. And that, I always recommend people, like, whatever you do, whether it's 10th Planet or Gracie Baja, it depends if you want a more traditional route. You know, traditional route is very cool with Gracie Baja. 10th Planet is awesome. They have so much different stuff. So it's really kind of how you are as an athlete. But main thing, just chill. Just enjoy the process of learning it. Don't have that competitive, oh, you know, I need to do this. And people will get hurt because of that. So you have to just flow. That's all I say, is just flow through it and breathe.
Yeah, like when I was younger, I might have went in with that white belt attitude, going in competitive. But now that I'm older, I don't mind getting choked out now, because I'll just say, you know, I'm not going in there thinking I know how to do everything. So I'll just expect it, you know.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's a learning process. It's another art that you don't know about. So you have to be willing to accept that you will get tapped out. Same with MMA, same with boxing. You accept that you are going to be hit in the face. That's part of the process. No matter how good you are, you will get hit. No matter, you know, especially as you're learning jiu-jitsu, you will get tapped out. And freaking tap. Don't hurt yourself.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah.
because you don't want to tap. It's okay. You tap, you restart. You know, that was another big thing, is don't fight things through. If you're going to tap, you tap. I'd rather save my arm and tap rather than let my ego get in it and then have an injury that I will forever have, you know?
Right. Your ego don't wear the cast. You will.
No. That is very true.
So, you know, there's been some holdups for you to actually make your debut, but now that, you know, in something organization like Invicta's been around for, you know, good almost 8 years now. How does it feel to make your debut through like a big organization, you know, specifically for women that just launched some of the biggest women's careers, you know?
Honestly, I'm still kind of in disbelief. Like, until I'm actually there, it hasn't fully settled in. You know, I'm processing everything because this has been the goal. Like, my main goal is obviously UFC, Bellator, but this, I knew I needed to get to something like this to get to that route. And we've watched Invicta from the beginning. I went to an event that Cyborg fought on the Invicta card. So, and this was like way back then before she got picked up. So it's been a long time coming, you know, and I can't say I've been patient, but I've sat back and enjoyed the process. But finally it's like, you know what? It's time, you know, and then to have this platform, it's the most amazing thing. You know, if I never went any further, I can say what an accomplishment just to be able to get to this level, to have this stage to perform at. And then especially with something like this, where it's women, girl power, like that's amazing. You know, you have Shannon Knapp, who is putting this on for women and building this sport for women and actually taking us seriously, which is really cool, you know? And so to be a part of that, I call it kind of the next generation, you know, all of these amazing people like the Amanda Nunes and Bullet Valentina, they may be close to retiring soon, you know? And so to be kind of this new wave that's coming in and kind of setting an example for these girls who are, that's the thing too, is I started about 15, but you have girls as young as what, like 5, 6 years old doing MMA. Yeah. So to be a part of that process and to kind of be that wave that's coming in is just, it is everything I was hoping to get to, and now it's here. So I'm telling you, I'm just so grateful for this opportunity, and I cannot wait to kind of show people like, hey, like I said, I've taken a back seat. I had no problem taking it, but now it's my turn, and you're going to enjoy the ride going along with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, this is the perfect platform for you to do it on. And going back real quick, so what point was it where you felt like you just needed to make that transition, you know, from the amateurs to professional? What was like your mind state? Did you say, like, did you ever feel like you were being held back, or did you just say, I can compete with some of these ladies out here? Like, when was it, and
the biggest indicator of that, because when I was back home in California, like, I've known where I was, you know, I was able to work with people like Kylan Curran. So I was able to spar with her. I've worked with Cyborg, and all of it came down to my mental state. You know, back in California, I knew I was talented, but I had not fully grasped like this talent that I was given. And it wasn't until I got out to Albuquerque and I was sparring with Michelle Watterson. You know, I got to spar with Holly Holm. And so to be around those women, to be able to keep up with those women, it was like, you know what? No, it's time. You know, I need to pull this trigger. Like, same with having a kid. You'll never be fully ready. Right, you know, as much as you prepare, you'll never be fully ready. But it was like, I'm done damaging my body for nothing. You know, that's the thing. Like I said, I've been doing this. Honestly, I've actually been doing this about 15 years now. And it was finally time to get to where I needed to was having that platform. And I'm sorry, but getting paid for it too. You know, like I said, I've been beating myself up for free for so long. I've taken my beatings, and then it wasn't until my mental game kind of came around, and I was like, you know what? I deserve to be in those shows. I deserve to be on those platforms. I've watched these women, and I know I'm on that level. And so I think it really came down to my mental game and being out here and around this high level of women, that I was like, okay, I can do this, you know? And so, and obviously I still have my moments where I'm like, oh my God, like, am I really ready, and this and that? But again, sometimes you just got to pull the trigger.
Yeah. Now, I was just looking at some of your training on Instagram, and I see one of my favorite fighters, you know, of all time, because this is one of the fighters that got me into mixed martial arts, was Jojo Calderwood.
Yes.
Like, how was it actually getting to work with her?
So I was always obsessed with her just because of her voice. And she seemed like the most amazing thing. I loved hearing her talk. And then I got the opportunity to go out to the BMF ranch, and her coach John Woods was out working with Cowboy. And so Jojo was able to come out, and same thing. We didn't get to do any sparring. It was kind of a quick trip for her, but being able to work with those people and get hands-on, it was like I said, it's kind of surreal. Like, I have been around these people before. I get a little starstruck, of course, but again, it was like, okay, you know, I'm doing okay. I can hang here, you know. Obviously, she's absolutely amazing, and I would love the opportunities to go out and train with them at Syndicate in Vegas. But I do get a little starstruck. I don't like to say it just because it's like, no, they're a person, but it was a little starstruck, and it was like, oh my God, like, I'm around these people, this high caliber of people that I was watching on TV. And I had to remind myself, I deserve to be there. You know, I've worked hard for that, and I deserve to be working with these type of people who are going to push me to be the best fighter I can. So it was amazing. And then she was, like I said, she was the absolute sweetest thing. So it just made it that much better.
Because like, I first seen her, you know, back, like, I seen some Muay Thai fights. Then I seen her in Invicta, and like, I just turned to one day and just saw her fighting. Then all of a sudden I heard her talking. I was like, damn, I was like, this type of girl got that, you know, that type of
just
killer
amazing.
Yeah. You know, so I just been a fan ever since. So yeah, that's cool though. Like you said, you deserve to be there. There's a certain point when you just feel like, you know, they could learn something from you. You know, you always got to think of it that way. But going into this Invicta debut, when do you actually, is it going to be, is it Kansas City?
Yeah. So it'll be in Kansas City, July 30th. And luckily, from what they've told us, they are going to try and have a fight. I think almost every month they're going to have try and have a fight for the rest of this year. I was lucky enough to get a 4-fight contract, so I'm going to be busting them out. If I can get these quick finishes, I would love to go 2-0 this year, maybe 3-0 this year if I can, you know. So the fact that I was able to get on this July card, it was perfect. I'm so excited, and then we'll see what happens after that.
It sounds good. When are you leaving for Kansas City?
So they're actually going to go through the whole process similar to the UFC. I'm actually only allowed one corner, and me and my corner have to get out to Kansas City about 4 days early, and we're going to go through the testing. We have to be isolated. So that's going to be very interesting to go through. You know, I have my little crew that goes out with me. So to just be one-on-one with my head coach, it's going to be very different. You know, maybe good, maybe bad. I'll kind of have to see once I'm out there, but we'll go through the process. We'll be out there about 4 days early. I think the 26th I go out there. I think we immediately get our testing done, and then I have to stay isolated, and then fingers crossed everything goes well and we can put on that show. Okay.
Is this your first time having the test done?
Yes, I've been told about it. I watched those videos. Have you gotten one done?
No, I ain't having one done.
Oh gosh.
I've been following my rules, just so I don't have any symptoms or anything. But like, is there the option? Are they giving you all the throat swab or the?
I was wondering about that. I was hoping I could do maybe a throat swab, but I
Yeah.
don't think so. I think it's straight up the nose to the brain.
Yeah, like everybody's been posting it more and more, and I'm just like, nah, y'all ain't making it look any easier for me.
No, I was like, I'd much rather take a punch to the face than get something up my nose like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So come July 30th on your debut, what's your plan? To win, make a statement, or win and make a statement?
Regardless of whatever fight I'm in, I always make a statement, and when I'm one of those people, like I said, it's all mental, and I'm going to be excited to walk away with my hands raised, and not just with a hand raised, but like I said, it's going to be definitely probably one of the best fights on the card, just because I know she's a really good fighter too.
Yeah.
So it's a great matchup, and both of us are wanting that win. And she's making her debut as well. So both of us want that kind of debut. We want to start our career off correctly, but this is my time. And like I said, I'm going to walk away with my hands raised and then just enjoy the process of celebrating and then looking for my next fights and kind of keeping that roll going.
Okay. So yeah, I don't want to keep you any longer, but last question, what did you think of UFC 251, the card, that main card?
It was really interesting.
Yeah.
Watching Rose again, I love Rose. I absolutely love her. And seeing how that fight played out, it was very interesting because you can tell both fighters were prepared, and they had trained because of they got to fight already. So then they got to train and prepare for what they were expecting was going to happen. And so girl fights are my absolute favorite, yeah. I'm kind of guilty. I don't follow the guys as much as I should, but I follow the girls, especially the flyweights, because that's my division. And so seeing the Paige fight was really interesting. I think that Amanda girl is awesome. And that's, again, those are flyweights. So those are really cool to see. Yeah, it was a very interesting one. I don't think it was obviously the best kind of card we've seen, especially with how some of the fights ended up. But, it's motivation, always motivation. It's this is why they say don't leave stuff to the judges. It's very unfortunate that that's how this game is, but you have to be very careful and you have to play the game. Yeah,
That's well put. But before we do wrap this up again, I just want to thank you for coming on, Natalya, and let everybody know where they can follow you at too.
Yeah, so thank you again so much. I love doing podcasts. I love the fact that you guys are bringing another light to fighters. We're not just kind of these robots that go in there. We're people, and we have feelings and all this kind of stuff. So it's really awesome just kind of getting a bit more personal, and these are awesome. Thank you so much for having me on, for my sponsors, and just everyone who supports me through this. I'm very big on Instagram. You can follow me at Tally, Talie, Pain, just Pain. That's where I post a lot of my updates. I'm also Tally Pain on Facebook. Don't really do Twitter. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm
Twitter's
a little
weird.
bit older, so never really figured it out. But yeah, my name is Natalya Speece, and you can find me you can hear us on #CB99Talks. So thank you again so much for having me on.
All right, no problem, and good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, maybe we'll do another one after my win, and we'll talk about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Don't be a stranger. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks again. Take care. Bye.
Bye.